Yeah, good morning and welcome you all for Corporate Finance online classes. This is Dr. Mahesh M. Monjeri, Assistant Professor from Department of Management Studies, SDM College of Engineering and Technology, Dharwad. Okay, so dear students, this is the second session of chapter number 1, Financial Management and Overview. So as I have already told you, financial management and corporate finance are interchangeably used here. Okay, so let's get back to our syllabus, chapter number 1. Okay, and I'll take a small recap first before moving on to the remaining part of the chapter. Students, can you see these PowerPoint slides?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, I can see it.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. So yesterday we learned about what is finance. Okay, so what are financial services and the scope of financial management. Our financial management is concerned with the duties of the financial managers in the business firm. And the scope of financial management or duties of the business firm are investment decisions, financing decisions, and dividend decisions. Okay, so today I have brought a more clear and simple definition. Okay, so I feel you can write this definition for 3 marks, but you need to explain a little bit. So please pay attention. It is same what I have told, but it is put in more appropriate words in a nutshell. Corporate finance is the division of finance that deals with how corporations deal with funding sources, capital structuring, and investment decisions. Okay, so I'll explain. Corporate finance is the division of finance that deals with how corporations deal with funding sources. Okay, first, corporation means companies. Okay, so how companies deal with funding sources. Funding means from which sources they raise capital. Okay, there are different sources of capital. For example, raising capital from issue of shares, raising capital from issue of debentures, taking loans from financial institutions, using reserves and capital. Okay, so there are different sources of funding. Then second decision is the capital structuring. So out of the total capital to be raised, what percentage of the total capital has to be debt capital, borrowed one, and what percentage of the capital should be equity capital, raised through equity shares. And investment decisions. Okay, so in which type of projects the company should invest the capital raised and how they should evaluate the alternative investment proposals. So I repeat now again after explaining the meaning. Corporate finance is a division of finance that deals with how corporations deal with funding sources, capital structuring, and investment decisions. So I hope this is clear and more simple. Corporate finance is primarily concerned with maximizing shareholder value through long and short-term financial planning and the implementation of various strategies. Okay, so definitely yes, in chapter number 1 we are going to learn the objectives of financial management or objectives of corporate finance, which is maximizing shareholder value. Okay, so in this very chapter we are going to learn about maximizing shareholder value, how corporate finance is primarily concerned with maximizing shareholder value. Okay, so that is how we are going to understand and learn about corporate finance. So whatever is narrated in this definition, yes, okay, we are going to learn the same in this chapter as well as in the remaining part of the syllabus. So I think this definition is more simple and clear than the previous one. Students, is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, any doubts here in understanding what is corporate finance, or for that matter even what is financial management? Okay, so you can answer.
No, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Keshav. Okay, the answer is same. Okay, so in examination, do not bother whether the term corporate finance is used or the term financial management is used. Am I making it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so there should
Yes,
not be any
sir.
confusion. Yeah, there should not be any confusion. In this subject, corporate finance, the term or words corporate finance and financial management are used interchangeably. Okay, so yesterday we also started a discussion on how finance is related to other disciplines in the management, and we first learned about how finance is related to economics with the macroeconomic environment, microeconomic environment, okay, and how the concept of a marginal analysis is used in financial management or corporate finance to make a decision, okay, make a investment decision. And we illustrated the use of concept of marginal analysis in financial management, okay, as a decision making theory, okay, with this illustration. I hope you remember. So where the only the marginal revenue and marginal cost matter, okay, in making a replacement situation or a single, yeah, in making a replacement situation in this illustration, whether the old computer should be replaced with new computer. So the marginal benefits are only 6,50,000 and the marginal cost of the new computer was only 5,20,000. So difference between the marginal benefits and the marginal cost. Marginal, when I say in a layman's language, actual, okay, benefit or net benefit, okay, or real benefit. So the net benefits were amounted to 1,30,000 rupees, which is positive. So the manager should go ahead with the decision of replacing the old computer with a new computer. Okay, then we were here. So we have already actually completed one part or one dimension. So second aspect was how finance is related to accounting. How finance is related to accounting. Okay, the relationship can be understood from two dimensions. Accounting is an important input in financial decision making. Okay, so yesterday we have learned about it. How accounting provides inputs, okay, in the form of financial results, okay, which are used as an input for financial decision making. I have explained it yesterday. So today we are going to continue with the same, and we are going to learn, okay, how finance is related to accounting from the second dimension by knowing the key differences between finance and accounting. Okay, so I hope you are with me. I okay gave you the brief recap of what we discussed yesterday. So the key differences between them we are going to understand, okay, from with respect to 2 points. The first point is the how funds are treated in finance and accounting, and the second point is the key differences between them. Okay, the first point in understanding the differences between finance and accounting is how funds are treated in finance and accounting. Measurement of funds in accounting is based on accrual principle, whereas in finance, treatment of funds is based on cash flows. I'll give a simple example. Say for example, in your books of accounts you mentioned, okay, say total sales made, okay, 1 crore, total sales made 1 crore, and let us say 80 lakh crore, say, sorry, 80 lakh rupees sales made on credit basis, 20 lakh rupees sales, cash sales. Okay, so that point in time, okay, if the founder of the company comes and he asks you, okay, how much sales we have made? So as a finance accountant, you may say, sir, we have made total sales of 1 crore rupee. Okay, in my example, 1 crore rupee. And so he will say, show me 1 crore rupee, give me 1 crore rupee. So you cannot give 1 crore rupee because, okay, 80 lakh rupee sales is on credit basis and only 20 lakh rupee sales is on cash basis. So then if though we don't have 80 lakh rupee with us, but why we consider it? Because of this accrual principle considered in accounting. So measurement of funds in accounting is based on accrual principle. So we say 80 lakh credit sales plus 20 lakh cash sales, total 1 crore sales. But whereas in finance, okay, or financial management or corporate finance, treatment of funds is based on cash flows, okay, the actual amount received in hand. Okay, so that is the first way how funds are treated, and we also have an illustration for this as well. Then the key differences between them. Finance and accounting also differ in respect of their purposes. Okay, purpose of finance and purpose of accounting. The purpose of accounting is collection and presentation of financial data like financial results, as I mentioned, net profit, net loss, financial ratios, and so on. The financial manager uses such data for financial decision making. I gave you a very simple example. Okay. Say the purpose of accounting is collection and presentation of financial data. Today's newspaper, if you pick up the Times of India, Airtel has posted net profit, okay, for the fourth quarter ending. So that is the work of accountant, okay, accounting department. Okay, they prepare the books of accounts and they declare the results of the financial performance. Okay. So then the financial manager uses such data for decision making. One simple example I will take, okay, dividend declaration. So whether the company should announce dividends or not, definitely depends on the financial performance of the company. And the financial performance of the company is understood by the financial data which is prepared by accounting department. Okay. So then, so we have a illustration here that how funds are treated in finance and accounting. So we say measurement of funds in accounting is based on accrual principle, whereas in finance, treatment of funds is based on cash flows. So to prove this, we have illustration. To illustrate, total sales of a trader during the year amounted to 10 lakh rupees, while the cost of sales was 8 lakh rupees. Okay. At the end of the year, it has yet to collect 8 lakh rupees from the customer. So that is credit sales, as I mentioned. The accounting view and the financial view of the firm's performance during the year are given below. So if you look at the accounting view, the income statement, sales 10 lakh minus 8 lakh cost. So net profit is 2 lakh rupees. Okay. Then financial view, the cash flow statement, it shows cash inflow 2 lakh rupees. Remember, okay. So total sales are 10 lakh rupees, and out of which they mention it has yet to collect 8 lakh from customers. Means credit sales are 8 lakh rupees. Means cash sales are 2 lakh rupees. So in financial view, only the actual cash inflow, okay, are taken into account. So the cash inflow, cash sales are only 2 lakh rupees. Cash outflow, okay, that is cost of sales. Here it is mentioned, okay. Cost of sales was 8 lakh rupees less cash outflow. So 2 lakh cash sales, cash is received in hand, minus you deduct the cost of selling the goods, 8 lakh rupees. So it is actually net cash outflow is 6 lakh into bracket. Okay, in accounting or financial management, the figure when denoted into brackets is always a negative. Okay, those who are non-commerce students, please pay attention. So 8 lakh minus 2 lakh is a minus 6,000. Okay, but instead of denoting it the minus sign, okay, this minus 6,000 rupees is represented as into bracket. Okay, when you write the amount in bracket, it means that it is negative. So if you really look at the accounting view, the company has made a net profit of 2 lakh rupees. But if you look at the financial view, okay, there is a net cash outflow of 6 lakh rupees. Okay. So this is how finance and accounting differ. Okay. If you have any query, you can ask me. If you have any query, you can ask me. You can speak only if there is a query.
No, sir.
Okay, okay. Thank you. So, and the last part, we are not going to elaborate much on this. Okay, finance and other related decisions. Okay, apart from economics and accounting, finance also draws for its day-to-day decisions on supportive disciplines, like means they take the support of other disciplines like marketing, production, quantitative methods for forecasting, for example, okay, or for evaluating investment proposals, okay, and so on. So the relationship between financial management and supported discipline is depicted in figure 1. Okay. So these are the decision areas in financial management or corporate finance. They include investment analysis, working capital management, sources and cost of funds, determinant of capital structure, dividend policy, analysis of risk and returns. Okay. So this is all you are going to learn in the syllabus. These are the financial decision areas. And these decisions are made with the help of or with the support of Okay, these primary disciplines like accounting, macroeconomics, and microeconomics, as well as other related disciplines like marketing, production, and quantitative methods. But we are not going to discuss them in detail. We have already discussed in detail how finance is related to accounting and economics. Okay. Okay, then when decisions are made in such a way, okay, they result in maximizing shareholder wealth. So what is shareholder wealth? We'll learn in next part of the chapter. Okay. Yeah. Students, can you see this PowerPoint slide?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, yes, thank you.
Sir.
Yeah, thank you. So now we are going to the next topic in the chapter, scope of financial management or scope of corporate finance. So what does corporate finance includes, or what does financial management includes? Okay, so the scope of financial management or the scope of corporate finance can be broken down into three major decisions as functions of finance. These are also referred to as functions of finance. Okay, the first function of finance is, or corporate finance is, investment decision. Okay, so a company can grow, increase its revenue, okay, by way of investing in new projects or new proposals. Okay, the investment decision relates to the selection of assets in which funds will be invested by a firm. Say for example, starting a new manufacturing plant, it is a investment decision. Acquisition, for example, it's an investment decision. Okay, the assets which can be acquired, okay, fall into two broad groups. So one is the long-term assets, okay, which is referred to as capital budgeting, and short-term or current assets, which is referred to as working capital management. Yes, we are going to learn both in the syllabus. Long-term asset, how a company evaluates investment decisions in the long-term assets, that is capital budgeting, as well as short-term or current assets, working capital management. Okay, so this is how exactly the syllabus is fitted to suit the scope of financial management. Okay, so what I'll do is about capital budgeting and working capital, I'll simply read now. Anyway, we are going to deal them in detail. And I already explained what is the meaning of capital budgeting. Capital budgeting is investment in long-term assets, where company invests in this present year, but they are going to receive returns over a period of time in future, like 10 year, 20 year, 30 year, like that. Okay. And the current assets or working capital is only for 1 year, one financial year. Okay. So capital budgeting is probably the most crucial financial decision of a firm. It relates to the selection of an asset or investment proposal or course of action whose benefits are likely to be available in the future over the lifetime of the project. Okay, so for example, if the company invests in a new manufacturing plant, okay, so the company has to invest now, but once the factory is ready, manufacturing plant is ready, the company is going to manufacture finished goods, sell them in the market and earn revenue over a period of time. So these are capital budgeting, okay, type of long-term type of investment proposals. Then working capital deals with the management of current assets. Okay, so students, can you give me some examples of current assets? Commerce students, or anyway for all, you have learned the accountancy subject already.
Sir.
Yes.
Credit debitors, sir.
Yeah, debtors. Okay.
Stocks.
Stocks.
Sir, cash balance, bank balance.
Yes, cash in hand, cash at bank. Okay, so very good. Okay, so working capital management concerned with the management of current assets. It is an important and integral part of financial management, as short-term survival is a prerequisite for long-term success. Okay, so anyway, we are going to learn them more in detail in coming units. And the second function of finance, or second function of corporate finance, is financing decision. So the first function is making investments so that the company can grow, earn more revenues and more profits. But from where they will get the money to invest? Okay, so to obtaining the money or obtaining the funds to invest, okay, is called as financing decision. Okay, so raising finance, raising capital, or obtaining money to invest. The second major decision involved in financial management is the financing decision. The investment decision is broadly concerned with the asset mix or composition of the assets of a firm. The concern of the financing decision is with the financing mix or capital structure or leverage. Okay, what percentage of the capital should be equity capital and what percentage of the capital should be debt capital. We call it as a financing mix or capital structure. There are two aspects of the financing decision. Okay, raising finance, arranging for funds. First, the theory of capital structure, which shows the theoretical relationship between the employment of debt and the return to the shareholders. Okay. And second aspect of financing decision is the determination of an appropriate capital structure given the facts of a particular case. Thus, the financing decision covers two interrelated aspects. One is the capital structure theory and another is the capital structure decision. Okay, but we will not learn capital structure theories in syllabus. Okay, but definitely we learn the factors determining capital structure. Of course, we learn leverages. Okay, yeah. Then the third function, okay, of finance or corporate finance is a dividend policy decision. See, a company arranges for finance, raises finance, okay, and invests in a new investment proposal. And let us say the financial results are out after some years. So depending on whether the company has made a profit or loss in that particular year, the manager can decide whether to announce dividend on the shares or not. Okay, so you should know. So that is the third function. Because this what is the importance of this function? When dividends are announced on shares, okay, when this dividend payout ratio is consistently higher and regular, it increases the price of the equity shares of that company. And that is how the wealth of the shareholders increases. Okay, because so to say today I might have purchased a share, face value of the share is, let us say, 100 rupees. And I have purchased it in the market for 500 rupees. And since last 3 to 5 years, let us say the company is regularly paying dividend and the dividend payout ratio is higher, due to which the market price of the equity shares of that company increases. Okay, so let us say the price, the equity shares of that company are presently traded at 1000 rupees. So I have purchased it at 500 rupees, but now if I sell it, I can sell it for 1000 rupees. So I'll get an additional income of 500 rupees per share. Okay, so that is how the shareholders' wealth is maximized. Okay, but all shareholders always don't want to sell. Okay, they prefer to hold the shares also. So the dividend decision should be analyzed in relation to the financing decision of a firm. Two alternatives are available in dealing with the profits of a firm. So let us say a company has made a profit in a particular financial year. So how the company can deal with the profits made in that year? First, they can be distributed to the shareholders in the form of dividends. Yes, they can do it. They can be retained. Second option, they means profits can be retained in the business itself. The decision as to which course should be followed. So either the profit can be distributed as a dividend to the shareholders, or the company can retain the profit and not distribute dividends. The decision as to which course should be followed depends largely on a significant element of the dividend decision, the dividend payout ratio, and that is what proportion of net profit should be paid out to the shareholders. Okay, so we'll learn more about it later. For now, for the time being, so these are the functions of finance or functions of corporate finance. So you may get a question on theory question on this. Okay, like describe the scope of financial management or discuss the scope of corporate finance. So this is the answer. Okay, you need to write in detail for 7 marks. Okay, so any questions here?
No, sir.
Okay, so that's good. Yeah, so in between also, if anybody would like to comment or give some opinion, or you would like to share some news from the newspaper, most of you are staying at home, okay? So some of the homes might have subscribed to daily newspapers. Okay, if any news you want to discuss, okay, you can please speak. Preferably, okay, related to corporate finance or financial management, or in general about business. In general about business. Even if you read Kannada newspaper, but you have to narrate it in English. Huh? Because Kannada newspaper will also have a column on business. Okay, no problem. So in the absence of your contribution, let me continue with rest of the syllabus from the chapter. So the next topic in the chapter deals with objectives of financial management or objectives of corporate finance. So I would like to go back to the definition of corporate finance. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I'll read again. Corporate finance is the division of finance that deals with how corporations deal with the funding sources, capital structuring, and investment decisions. Okay, you can recall how it is covered promptly in the scope of financial management. So that is why I said corporate finance or financial management words are interchangeably used. Remember. Then I would like to focus on this. Corporate finance is primarily concerned with maximizing shareholder value through long-term and short-term financial planning and the implementation of various strategies. So maximizing shareholder value is the objective of corporate finance or financial management, and that is what we are going to learn now. Okay. So objectives of financial management. The objective provide a framework for optimum financial decision making. Okay, so the financial decisions are to be made in a way, okay, that would achieve this objective. So what are the financial decisions? Again, I'd like to go back to this slide. See, these are the financial decisions: investment decision or investment analysis, working capital management, the sources and cost of funds, determination of capital structure, dividend policy, analysis of risks and returns. Okay. So only this risk and return is not covered in the syllabus. You will have a separate subject. I don't remember the title of the subject, but you will have a separate subject, okay, for analysis of risk and returns. Anyway, so these are the decisions, okay, of financial decision areas. So these decisions should be made in such a way, okay, where the objectives of financial management can be achieved. Okay. The term objective is used in the sense of a decision criterion for the three decisions involved in financial management, namely investment, financing, and dividend. Of course, we saw some other decisions also, not a problem. So there are two alternative approaches, okay, in determining objectives of financial management. So one is profit maximization, another is wealth maximization. So in this part of the chapter, so we are going to illustrate, okay, how wealth maximization is a superior objective to profit maximization. These are two different objectives, or these are two different approaches to objectives of financial management. So in next part of the chapter, we are going to prove with an illustration how wealth maximization, the objective of wealth maximization, is superior to the objective of profit maximization. Hence, we are going to conclude that the company should consider the objective of wealth maximization while taking its decisions. Okay. Yeah. So we'll go ahead with the first, profit maximization, the objective of profit maximization. Those who are not paying attention, okay, so I repeat once again for them. there are two objectives of financial, there can be two objectives of financial management, or there can be two different alternative approaches for objectives of financial management. The first objective is profit maximization, and the second objective is wealth maximization. So we are going to have an illustration to prove that the objective of wealth maximization is superior to the objective of profit maximization. Hence, company should consider the objective of wealth maximization while making finance decisions. Okay, so let us consider the first objective or first approach, profit maximization. It is also called as earning per share maximization. Okay, profit maximization. The objective of profit maximization is also called as EPS or earning per share maximization. The investment, financing, and dividend decisions of a firm should be oriented to maximization of profit or maximization of earning per share. That is what this objective states. So what is the rationale behind using this objective? First, it is simple. Okay. And second, profit provides the yardstick by which economic performance can be judged, of course. Okay. So whether the company is performing well or not, okay, one can understand by way of profit. It leads to efficient allocation of resources. Okay. So the company will allocate resources in a way which maximizes profit of the firm or earning per share. Okay. So due to these reasons, okay, so it is suggested that companies can also consider the objective of profit maximization and make the investment decisions, financing decisions, and dividend decisions in such a way where it can maximize profit or maximize earning per share. But yeah, there are some technical flaws or disadvantages or cons of this objective. So what are they? First one is ambiguity. Ambiguity means not clear. It may be, so when we say profit, profit may be short-term profit or long-term profit. Profit may be total profit or rate of profit. Profit may be before tax profit or after tax profit. So it is not provided in this approach. So what type of profit is it? It is not clear. That is the first major problem with this approach. Okay, students, I think there is only 1 minute left. Okay, so I'll stop here, and immediately I will start the next meeting for another 20 minutes, and I'll begin that with taking attendance. So without wasting much time, quickly you have to log out and join back the same meeting. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.